All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just going to give it a few minutes, let everyone else join. Look, if I'm not directly looking at the camera, that's because I'm on two different screens. So I'm on a screen here and I'm on a screen here. So that's why. Yes, Ben, how you doing? I've seen you come up on Instagram. This is pretty cool, actually. This is pretty cool. Literally, Facebook here and Instagram here. This is pretty cool. Guys, I'm not going to accept your video request because we're just going to have a jolly on here. All right, guys. So those of you who don't know who I am, I'm obviously Priyesh. I am the CEO and the founder of PFX, which is obviously what you see behind me here. Um, and we've decided to do a little live session on Instagram and on Facebook to give you guys a little bit of an insight into Bitcoin's ETF launch tomorrow. And so my fabulous team and myself have put together a fantastic article that was released today. So if you haven't read it, go onto the website and then read the article that we've put out, explaining our pros and cons of the ETF tomorrow, for especially for those people who actually don't know what an ETF is, and that's probably 99% of people. So you need to understand the concept of what an ETF is before you actively look forward to what's actually happening tomorrow. But big day happening in the cryptocurrency market. So I just want to say hi to everyone that's joining on, either being student or non-student. I see some very familiar faces both on Instagram and on Facebook as well. And so what I wanted to talk about is this Bitcoin ETF and a little bit about my thoughts on it. Now, for a lot of you guys, you probably would have heard about Bitcoin. You would have one of your friends would have said something as well. Guys, I'll get through all your comments and stuff later on. Just write down all your questions and stuff, and then I'll get to it when I have a little bit of a read in a moment. But so every Tom, Dick, and Harry, everyone's talking about Bitcoin these days. You know, everyone's uncle, auntie, and dog are talking about Bitcoin. I'm not going to get into what it actually is because I know there's a lot of people that don't actually know what Bitcoin is, what its use is, what its use cases, or anything along the lines of that. I'm not going to get into the detail of that. But tomorrow is a monumental day. So tomorrow is the first ETF launch for Bitcoin. And what an ETF basically is, it's you can invest in an ETF, and an ETF. Imagine it's like let's say as an example, imagine it's a carrier bag, yeah, a grocery bag, and inside the grocery bag there's loads of different groceries, right? It's got your vegetables, it's got your meat, it's got your dairy, poultry, etc. That's in your grocery bag. So that's what it is. So you're investing in one thing in your grocery bag, but inside that grocery bag there's numerous other goods inside there. So you have a small piece of the pie and all these numerous things, but you are buying that grocery bag. So that's a an analogy I like to use to describe what an ETF actually is. Um, so tomorrow is the first day that they're going to be releasing a Bitcoin ETF. Everything is approved by the SEC, um, and so everything is good to go ahead. But there's a problem when it comes to great news like that. Anybody that's actively trades or invests or knows anything to do with the financial markets, that there is a typical scenario where it's you buy the rumor, you sell the news, right? So you buy the rumor, which basically means that um, the rumors of the ETF being approved or anything happening great in any financial market, and you're going to see price for that particular market rally, right? And that's exactly what you saw with Bitcoin. So word started to spread last week that an ETF was about to be approved by the SEC, and then all of a sudden you saw Bitcoin start its trajectory upwards. So we've got to roughly what 62,000, I believe we're on, and so it could be that that was the rally, and then when everything joins tomorrow, how you doing, Val? When actually everything launches tomorrow, that you could see a dip or I wouldn't say a correction. A correction is going to need about 35% retrace, but a dip is very much possible, something like a 10-15% dip. So that's something to be made aware of, and just everyone to really keep on the back of your thoughts that it could be literally buy the rumor, sell the news. So when the news actually comes out, it could just drop. And what that does is, because a lot of people, they get excited, right? They get excited, think, yes, look, an ETF is going to be launched tomorrow for Bitcoin. Fantastic. Two other firms have also put in their requests to get ETFs approved by the SEC as well. So fantastic, great news, great news, great news. What a lot of people don't realize is that in financial markets, it's primed and ready to take people out. Now, there is a lot of people that are going to be trading on leverage, investing with leverage, and that basically means you're leveraging your account. And shortly, you're going to see next week there'll be a video released on leverage, just to explain the dangers of leverage trading. And so they're all going to be placing their buys, getting ready right now. So right now, all money is being accumulated at around about the $60,000 mark, right? So money's getting accumulated, everyone's buying, getting ready for it. And then all of a sudden, what is going to happen? I would not be surprised if all of a sudden we get a 10% drop down to 50,000, wipe every single long position out, and then it will start to rally. And that's just a harsh lesson in the reality of financial markets for a lot of people that are inexperienced and they get involved in something which they don't quite understand just because of media hype. That's something that I just wanted to touch base and mention today. If there's any questions you guys have on this, then please write it down on either platform, either Facebook or Instagram, and then I will respond. But if you're asking me the question, what would I do in this scenario, from someone who's very much an early investor into this and who actively removes positions, adds positions, removes positions, adds positions, and I play the whole wave game, I would very much reduce exposure at this time and wait for the news to settle, let everything come out tomorrow. You got to remember, the SEC still have until midnight tonight, to block this. So it's unlikely, but I wouldn't be surprised if they all of a sudden come out and say, actually, no, we're not for this. Let's cancel it again. But what the benefit of an ETF is, it gives a little bit of security to a lot of investors. It's a lot of investment firms as well, and high-end investors. And what I mean by that is, well, there's a lot of scrutiny and there's a lot of the cryptocurrency space and the Bitcoin space. It's very new and unfamiliar to a lot of people. It's very risky. There's a lot of risk in there. You could lose a lot of money very quickly. You can gain a lot of money very quickly. You don't even have to be a specialist just to put some money in and make some money off it, which a lot of people have. And now they claim they're traders. Nope, you're just lucky. But there's a lot of fear with a lot of the bigger players in the market, because everybody wants some sort of regulation, because no one wants to be wiped out of their income. And that's what Bitcoin can do to you. It can drop very, very quickly. And so it's that sense of security. So what an ETF does, it gives you that sense of security. So that's where you see a lot of financial institutions and hedge funds. They're all going to be a lot more calmer to invest in something. A lot of big end investors are going to be calmer investing into Bitcoin now, because there's a sense of security there. This is a form of regulation that's been implemented. So it's going to make life a little bit easier for Bitcoin moving forward. So you don't have to invest into Bitcoin itself. You invest into the ETF, which has Bitcoin part of it. Yeah, and that's the security that people want. And because it's, imagine you got like I said earlier on, the grocery bag analogy, and in your grocery bag you had Bitcoin there. So that was one part of your grocery bag. And imagine now, all of a sudden, Bitcoin drops 50%. But you've got the other bits and pieces within that ETF that are holding it afloat. So your whole ETF doesn't lose as much value as Bitcoin would on its own. That's where the risk is. Investing in Bitcoin on its own is very, very risky, but investing in an ETF where it's in conjunction with other investments, you won't lose so much of your pot of wealth there. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, guys. And that's a little bit about ETF, about the announcement tomorrow. So it could be literally buy the rumor and then sell, or it could just literally go off from there. But if it were me, I'd be reducing exposure, because yeah, mate, it's not worth the risk, right? In financial markets, everything's a risk, and you want to eliminate that risk. So why not take some money off the table, bank something? Because the aim of the game is to bank money, right? Don't be fooled and don't get sucked into the concept where people say you got to hold on for dear life because Bitcoin's going to go to the moon, spaceship, all that type of nonsense and jargon. Guys, you got to be realistic. These are the same people that will discredit the dollar, that will discredit fiat currency, but then withdraw it back into the bank account, back into fiat, and then spend it. Makes no sense, right? That's just being hypocritical now. So the aim of the game is to always to bank profits, and so now would be a great time to reduce your exposure. And remember, guys, if tomorrow the news comes out and it's fantastic and it skyrockets away and you've reduced exposure, there's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be bad about because you've banked money. You've made some. The last thing you want to do is hold on to something, it absolutely tank because you thought it was going to go to the moon. And that's the worst thing you can do, you know? So make those type of decisions. And that's my thoughts on the Bitcoin ETF launch tomorrow. And if you guys want a bit more information on that, go onto the website, yeah, and go to the articles section, and then you'll see the latest article that was released today, written by the wonderful Stacy, which is about the Bitcoin ETF, and it's a little bit more of an in-depth insight into what potentially may happen and what's the importance of why this ETF is going to be launched tomorrow. So, any questions, guys? Any questions from yourselves? Just drop them on either platform. Well, to be fair, look, hand up. I've messed up my Facebook Live a little bit. I seem to have lost everything where I can see. All I can see is just a little box of me in the bottom corner, and that's it. I can't see anything else. So yeah, just write your questions, and I'll try and figure out where I can actually see it. Okay, let's try click some buttons and see where I go. Comments. Here we go. Nope. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I can see everything now. Yes, James, how you doing? Look at the Facebook screen. Sorry, I couldn't look at the Facebook screen because it's easier to look at the Instagram screen because I lost the Facebook screen, so I couldn't even see it. I didn't know where it was. But yes, I'll look at this screen now. So you guys are gonna have to just bear with me looking at this screen here. Sonny, makes sense. Buy the hype, sell the news. Yeah, what's in it for Bitcoin to be part of an ETF? Security, Kareem. It's financial security for investors, right? Instead of investing in Bitcoin itself, which can have huge dips and corrections, an ETF is a lot more of a safer option. Sunny, correction to 20,000 must be absolutely dreaming. Look at James is loving that. And yes, you can see that the article is now posted on the Facebook chat, so you can actually click on that and have a read of the article that was released today. And on Instagram, if you've got a question, write it and I'll have a look. I'll scroll through it and I'll have a look at what you guys are writing. Is that Corinne? Yes, Corinne. So write it on either platform, and then I'll answer. And I'll be here for a few more minutes, guys. I'm not going to take up too much of your evening. It's late where I am as well, so just a few more questions, and then we'll move on from there. Good time to look at alts. So you know what's interesting about that question is it's money rotation, right? And generally, what happens in the cryptocurrency market is that you'll have the big player that will always move first. Your big player is always going to be Bitcoin. Wherever Bitcoin goes, everything else is going to go, regardless. Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. Bitcoin goes down, everything goes down. But when it comes to money rotation in Bitcoin and in that cycle itself, what tends to happen is Bitcoin and Ethereum, let's say, they're the front runners. They're the ones. They're like the Usain Bolts of like the cryptocurrency market, and they'll shoot off. And then when they shoot off, it goes on its run. That's why you see like all the alts. And alts, guys, they're just a variation of all the other different cryptocurrencies. They will become stagnant. They stay where they are. And actually, Bitcoin and Ethereum tend to generally take off from there. Once they have their move, and they have their either parabolic move, and parabolic just means going up in a straight line. Once it has their move, it kind of stops, money gets swindled out from there and gets put into the other cryptos, which are the alts, and that's that cycle that I mean. And then the alts tend to have a little run themselves, and that's what generally tends to happen. So right now you've got the Ethereum and Bitcoin moving on, and then soon you'll probably see the alts then start to move on from there. Would Bitcoin's ETF affect other cryptos like Ethereum, for example? Is exclusive to Bitcoin? It's exclusive to Bitcoin. They would have to have an ETF in with other cryptocurrencies involved, and I believe some other companies are already seeking approval to get other cryptocurrencies involved in ETFs as well, not just Bitcoin. And so that will kind of soften out the volatility for those cryptos, but at the moment, no, it will just be Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the one that's kind of known, right? There's probably many people that are logged into both of these lives that have probably only heard of Bitcoin, or they've only heard of cryptocurrency from word of mouth, friends or family, or anything like that, not from actual technology or use case, or why it's actually there. So at the minute, it's just Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the front runner, and there'll be nothing else for a little while. Any other questions, guys? Write them on either platform. It's all good. Write them on either platform. A few more minutes and then I'll shoot off. Oh, and by the way, for those of you, you want to join the webinar. If anyone on my team is on any of these calls, can you please post up the links to the events page on both of the platforms, so that people can register the webinar. So this Sunday, guys, at 6:30 p.m. UK time. So 6:30 p.m. UK time, there's going to be a free webinar, and in this webinar, we'll host it, P8FX, and you'll see myself on there as well. And I will talk the same way I'm talking to you guys now. We'll talk about trading. We're going to talk about investing. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency. It's a 2-hour webinar. It's going to be fantastic. Those of you who've been to previous ones or been to our last P8FX event, you know what's coming your way on this webinar. It's great stuff. So you'll see that. So you see on the Instagram, Sonny's posted up the page. Jump on that, literally register for the webinar, and then you'll get your email confirmation, and then you'll be locked and loaded on. All right, so let me get some more of your questions out of the way. So in case it will fly up, no doubt it will correct one day. So nothing is better to bank profit and enter again when you'll see the opportunity. Everything we'll do is just banking profits all the way. That's exactly it. All you want to do is just keep banking profits. As you go up, you're just banking. The worst thing you can do is literally hope, and have the hope that it's going to go to $25 million and I'm going to hold it till there. You can keep holding it. God knows how long it's going to take to get there. The aim of the game is to keep banking profits. You keep, when it corrects, you can then put that investment back in, and either way you've made more every single time. If you want to play the long game and you have the conviction that that Bitcoin is the future and cryptocurrency is the future, and you have patience to wait the next decade of about 10 years, by all means, just hold it, do nothing. If you actively want to get involved, get in and get out, then you always close at the top. You wait till it drops, you get back in, wait till it goes again, close at the top, you get back in when it drops. So you're playing the game within the market waves. Technical told the story. Yeah, when it comes to Bitcoin and when it comes to cryptocurrency itself, it's very much a technicals game. There's a lot of noise in the space where anyone can say anything, they can tweet something can come out and it will move, right? So it moves based off rumors and it based off news. It generally moves like that. But when you're looking at things from a chart perspective, it's fantastic to see that regardless of what is said, what is meant to be happening, everything moves as it should move. And if the chart is telling you that it's going to go down, then eventually something will come out and then push it down in that direction. So technicals, yeah, always tell the story. All right, so on the Facebook one, James, gold, sell off to fund BTC trades. Uh, James. Um, so the money rotation out of gold. So you can see, look, gold is not having the best of times right now. Personally, I don't think it's gonna sustain. I don't think gold will continue just to fall until it annihilates. No, I believe it will have its day. Yes, generally gold gets taken out, it gets sold, and then that money gets sent and gets put into other markets. So it's called money rotation, guys. So you have different markets. You have commodities, you have the stock market, you have cryptocurrency, and then you have currency, which is forex. So there are 4 different markets that you have. And money rotation tells you that money gets taken out of one market and gets put in another market. Comes out of one market, gets put in another market. So it's like a cycle. And when Bitcoin had its rally from 10,000 all the way to 60,000, which happened so quick, you saw all the markets, you saw the dollar index take a fall, you saw gold absolutely die, you saw a lot of these other markets totally just collapse because money was taken from them and it was put into Bitcoin. And then you got to understand the dynamics of, it's not as easy as taking money and put it in there. When it comes to Coinbase, a lot of companies and institutions use Coinbase to invest into Bitcoin, and there's a process that needs to take place. Some companies it takes actually 6 months. Some companies it takes 2 weeks. It all depends on the company itself. So it's not just a simple case of money coming out in one place or coming out of gold. Gold drops and it gets put into Bitcoin. No. There are technical factors that play a part on that, but eventually money does get put into it. So every now and again you see that big candle, that big move in Bitcoin. That is an institutional purchase that's been verified and actioned, and you can see it absolutely pump at the same time. And the same concept for when you see things go down so rapidly is because money was taken out and then it gets put into another market. You saw after coronavirus, you saw the stock market make a V-shaped recovery and absolutely move in an upward direction, just literally non-stop. And that was a lot of money put into the stock market. And no doubt, the Federal Reserve and America had a big part to play in that because of their unlimited money printer. So that's a little bit about money rotation as well. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there for today. And actually, I quite enjoyed this. We'll do this a little bit more often. Every time I get a moment, I'll jump on and I will talk to you guys about some of the bits and pieces that's going to be happening. And it was important that I had this today to talk about the importance of what was going to happen tomorrow. So please visit the website and have a look at the article that was released today. And those of you interested in investing, trading, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, anything to do with financial markets, then please join our webinar, which is going to be coming up this Sunday. Visit the website or click on one of the links in any one of these lives. And I'll catch you guys on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. UK time. Perfect timing, guys, because it's straight after the Manchester United game. So we'll catch up on Sunday. Thank you for joining. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.